I mean, it's got to the point where they're even considering getting rid of the triple lock for pensioners, which I actually think Keir Starmer is in favour of doing.
Yeah, it seems like they might do that. And I mean, to be fair, that'd be fine if the state pension wasn't disgustingly low.
Yes, but I think you'll get to the point... people don't realise that actual wages are so low that you've got to the point where, because of the way that triple lock works, you have pensioners actually having more disposable income than working people.
Yeah.
So they're trying to link it to wage rises, like wage increases, so you don't have a situation where working people are actually worse off than pensioners. Like I'm all for, like, you know, obviously protecting pensioners. Like, but the argument that I'm making is you have to strike a balance. And the UK's financial situation is so dire. Like I obviously say, like, you know, you have 750,000 people in the UK that don't have to look for a job ever, indefinitely, for anxiety and depression. If you're asking me what I would rather prioritize, I'd rather prioritize the economic health and safety of our pensioners and strip mainly people under the age of 35 who are not looking for a job and have no obligation to look for a job of that benefit. Like, you can't...
What about people who are, like, genuinely crippled by things like that? Because I've met people who like suffer from, like, mental health, like, issues.
Okay, so here's the top of the queue. Here's the list. People with physical disabilities.
Yeah.
Because I've spoken to a lot of people with physical disabilities that are like, the system has become so clogged that I actually can't physically leave, and yet I'm at the back of the queue because there's so many claimants for disability benefits. So top of the list is people that can under no circumstances physically move because, like...
Then the last time that a Conservative government tried to go after that, they went so fucking hard at people who, like, are clearly unable to work.
Well,
like, DWP were like, I think there's like 1,000 documented cases of, like, them driving people to suicide. Literally. Because they couldn't, they stripped them of their benefits of people who, like, physically could not work.
Do you know why it took so long? Because they didn't fund the assessment centres. They didn't have enough people on staff to actually properly assess these people. In some cases, you had people at the degrading situation where you have to, like, drag yourself into the DWP to show them, hello, I'm paralyzed. I mean, this is the thing. The infrastructure around it was so terrible. But the actual primary goal of, like, yeah, let's prioritize people that cannot under any circumstances work or move. And I used to work in a centre for disabled adults. So, like, it's like, this is a no-brainer. So you have that. And then you have people with sort of the kind of mental disabilities that can be managed, but, like, that would prevent someone from being able to hold down a job. So, like, severe, like, schizophrenia, bipolar, blah, 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 blah. At the bottom of that list is anything for anxiety or depression. And once I hear those two words, I'm like, that's terrible. However, that shouldn't be in the state's remit to try. And anxiety and depression should be something that should be community-focused, community-led initiatives to try and tackle, as opposed to the government. Because ultimately, I think you have to prioritize. It's really uncomfortable. It's really, really uncomfortable. But I also think the fact that you have a record number of mainly young people. This is the thing. People think of, like, you know, all these old people who are claiming benefits that don't want to work. It's mainly young people under the age of 35. Many of them have never held a job before. It's a legacy of the COVID era. Many of them are perfectly healthy and fit to work. That's just no. I'm sorry you are suffering with anxiety or depression, but that goes to the point that communities and families have broken down so much that these people feel like they have no support, and that's terrible.
I think it's also like stock or company. We're not cured, but significantly reduced, but is outside.
Yeah.
Eat a multivitamin that has, like, magnesium, zinc, vitamin D.
Vitamin D,
yeah. That's ridiculously important to anxiety disorder. Like, I know people who literally just started taking a multivitamin. They're anxious anymore. Like, after like a couple of weeks of taking it, and they're just like, it's gone away.
Well, gut health is linked to mental health, isn't it?
So, and then food to eat, like, don't eat crap. Just literally, that's it. Let's just don't, like, cook some food yourself. It'll taste better. Trust me.
Yeah. It always tastes better as well. I'm like, why am I spending like 40 quid on crap?
Yeah. Or go to Just Eat for, like, them to only deliver half your fucking order. That's the most period.
Oh, I would get rid of
special place.
I would get rid of. I'll tell you in a sec.
And then, so I would say prescribe them a multivitamin, vitamin D, and give them a free gym membership.
Yeah. Honestly, at Pure Gym, triple their price, I'd still pay it. No, the things going to the gym and being physically fit does for my mental health is, like, I can't compare it to anything else. On the Just Eat point, I would honestly ban the delivery of hot food anywhere. If you want to eat shit, you go and pick it up yourself. This gig economy of these people Deliveroo, Just Eat, Uber Eats, ban it all. You want to eat crap, go walk there and get it. If you want to order anything, order gazpacho or sushi that's cold. No more Just Eats. But the thing, like, seriously, it is a cancer. It's making people less fit. I mean, like, you got to the point where you see on Just Eat, like, oh yeah, we cannot deliver McDonald's to schools. Really? Really? We're at that point where, like, school children are ordering Just Eat.
About school lunches are as well.
Well, probably, but it's just a mass, this culture of eating crap from outside that's expensive.
And life. Do you know the other problem with
you save so much money not
Just
doing
Eat, Deliveroo, etc. is like A, it's a drain on the economy because it's like taking money away from the restaurants. It's destroying the hospitality industry. No one wants to, like, people don't go out to eat as much anymore, and that's partially because they have no money, and then they get a 30% off voucher from Just Eat. But the other thing,
who's driving the Just Eat cars? And
that's what I wanted to say is that, like, and this London is this, and I think probably a lot of Britain has become this, and probably quite a lot of the developed world. There's this weird, like, scenario where we have like an underclass of immigrants who do the shittiest jobs you can possibly imagine that didn't actually used to exist.
Undocumented as well.
Quite possibly.
It's like Dubai.
And honestly, for it's not only does it like drive wages down for like normal, like, not I say normal people, just like people who've lived in the country longer than, you know,
actual Brits.
Yeah,
say it, actual Brits.
Yeah, like citizens. It drives the wages down for them. It's creating this. It's creating this underclass of people who take up massive amounts of the housing supply, and like that, again, not a problem if we were building houses, but we're not. If you know,
well, it's a problem because it's like we talk about migration and like net migration has gone through the roof. We have 1 million more people, but like, who are these people? Who are the people replacing? Because it's net, right? So to have like so it's higher than 1,000 people moving in. That means like you have to have a certain number of people leaving, and who's replacing them? I'm sorry, like, it's just a lot of these like immigrants from like Nigeria and India and Pakistan that are using these like student loans and like student courses and stuff, student visas as a backdoor into the UK. And because they over like estimated like I think 1.5 million illegal immigrants in this country, you have these people that can work in the gig economy with no employee protections, and making money, and it suits them just fine, by the way, because they can send money back home, or like they at some point, like if they've been in the UK long enough and they can access public funds, they just live on benefits. Like there's certain communities in this country where you can see like the economic inactivity of their women between the age of 24 to 60, and it's about like over half of the women in those communities. I'm talking like South, I think it's Bangladesh specifically I'm talking about, but like there are communities or there's sections in this country that live like that, and it's just like chain migration. It's their families, and like, you know, we talk about, like, for example, I don't know why, well, I know why there was a lot of attention on the Pakistani grooming gangs, but like to talk about the Pakistani community as a whole, how it's developed, it's really a lot of that chain migration. You have people that are moving here with like they start studying, and then they bring their wife over, and then they bring their cousins and all of that, and they become these insulated communities. And so like, this is something that suits them just fine. Of course, they'll just do Just Eat for a couple of years and then, you know, find a way to settle within their own communities that they probably already have a foothold here in the UK, and it just goes from there.
But yeah, for me, it's the disturb of it is the fact that like everyone's kind of fine with the fact that we've created this underclass. And like, to me, that's the weird bit, because like
the left is fine with it because immigrants to grow the economy. I'm like, treating them like chattel.
But like, it's not growing the economy. You're lying about it growing the economy. You're adding to the GDP, but that doesn't mean you're like growing the economy.
But GDP per capita is going down.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like, it's not actually providing any growth whatsoever. It's making us all poorer, because they think that like importing a number through like adding to GDP is a substitute for economic growth. And even then, like, people were bragging about the IMF saying, and the IMF, the people that the IMF, they love to believe the IMF whenever it says what they want it to say, right? The IMF are a bunch of dicks, right? Like, they are Chicago, like former, like Milton Friedman, like just ideologues. They were part of the troika of the IMF, the ECB, and the World Bank, who literally went into Greece and were like, actually, you know, you elected that government that said that we were going to do it. that we're gonna, not have austerity, and actually, no, we're in charge now.
And your pensions, no, not going to do that.
No, and they've done it repeatedly around the world. Like, just come in. Actually, no, you don't get the money unless you do all the things that we say. They're a bunch of fucking banksters that like deserve no part in any civilized society.
Just because no one votes them in or out. Do they
Yeah, they're another one of those fucking groups that we were talking about to begin with. But like the IMF said that 1.5% growth of Britain's going to be the fastest growing, and G7 is like 1.5%.
A few million people from the developed world.
1.5%. That fuck you. Like inflation's like inflation. What they say is inflation. I mean, the way they manipulate the CPI is a different question. But like it's at what 2.5%, 3%. Okay, okay, even say that, right? That means we're still, like, the economy is shrinking in real terms.
Things are still getting more expensive. I mean, the whole thing is a scam. It's a scam.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for making it right the way to the end of the podcast. I love that you tuned in this long. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, because 80% of you bastards are not subscribing, but you're watching my videos. See you next time.